Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Steve's office. Hey, I wanted to talk to you today about something I'm missing. We're all missing a lot of things right now, but as you can tell, UND's season would be over, but I am missing hockey. I'm a relatively new hockey fan. Started watching about 5 years ago, diligently, I'd say. And I have a story behind that kind of has to do with some of my faith journey. So I would like to tell you that. First of all, I just want to show you, I do like hockey, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I like here. I have a couple NHL teams that I really follow, and one is the Philadelphia Flyers, and the other one is the Chicago Blackhawks. They are my favorite team, the Blackhawks are. Got some stuff around here. Here's Jonathan Toews right here. And, of course, this is Gritty. He's my favorite mascot in the NHL for one of my favorite teams. You've seen him. He's a big orange goofball with googly eyes. Got all kinds of hockey stuff here. There's Nordy from the Minnesota Wild. Got a couple pillow pets here. I keep them on my couch over there. But anyway, I like hockey. And I didn't like hockey at one point. It wasn't one of my favorite sports, but that changed in I would say 2015 was the year, so that'd be 5 years ago. When my daughter Erin had leukemia and she was staying in the hospital in the year 2014, and I was with her, she got put in a room sponsored by an NHL player from Moorhead named Matt Cullen. And he is a really awesome guy because he's a 3-time Stanley Cup winner. At the time, I think he had only won one with the Hurricanes. And I kind of embarrassed myself when I first met him because I didn't know anything about hockey. And I was like, well, where did you play and all that stuff? And, you know, I guess everybody in Moorhead probably knows who he is. And I guess maybe most of Fargo knows who he is. And I would assume everybody at the hospital does because he sponsors a room, and he even built like their new playroom there at the new hospital. But I didn't know who he was because I didn't follow hockey. I knew of UND hockey because I'm from North Dakota. But anyway, so what happened was he came in with his wife Bridget, I would say, I don't know, a couple days after Erin started her treatments. And he just brought in a bunch of toys for her, and it was kind of cool. He first started, the first visit was short. You know, he kind of came in and said hi, checked on us, see how we were doing. This was very recent. It was like 2 or 3 days after Erin was first diagnosed. So me and Emily were in pretty rough shape. So I think he knew that, and he kind of just introduced himself and his wife, checked on us, wished us well, and then went on his way. But it was, I think it was like maybe the next week or so, him and his wife came in, and I believe they spent hours there with our daughter, just playing with her and hanging out. And it was really cool for me to see that. I didn't know who he was completely. I started researching him, so I was like, oh, he's a Stanley Cup winner. He's a pretty famous hockey player from the city of Moorhead, so he's a local hero, and he does so much for the kids. He has the Cullen Children's Foundation, which helps sponsor sick kids with cancer and other ailments staying at the hospital. But what is awesome is he just hung out, and that blew me away that somebody who didn't have to do that, you know, he doesn't have to do that. He can do whatever he wants, but he takes time out of his day and time out of his busy life, especially when in 2014 when we were there, he was still playing hockey. He was with the Nashville Predators at the time. And so they took time out of his busy life and schedule to come and just be with my daughter. And that completely blew me away. And one of the things that I just couldn't fathom was he was so kind. Didn't know us. He didn't know anything about us. He just knew we were in a rough patch. Our daughter was facing down cancer, and he just wanted to be there and be somebody to show us some kindness with his wife. And what a great person. And so it was at that time he kind of became one of my personal heroes there. And then I started watching hockey because he played for the Predators, so that's who I started watching. I remember it was the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs where I really started paying attention to hockey, and so I watched that, and I know I think he was playing in those playoffs, but the Hawks won the Stanley Cup that year, and of course I'm a new hockey fan, so who's the best team? Well, the Blackhawks. Well, okay, so I guess I'll be a Blackhawks fan. I know nothing about hockey at this point. That's when I started following it. And then I picked up a few other teams that I like to follow and watch. And, we went to the UND hockey games here once we were out of the hospital and started attending those. The girls team at UND, we went to pretty much all of their games all the time. Aaron loved that. And I remember one time the whole women's hockey team at UND signed a puck for her and gave it to her as a show of appreciation for us coming to their games and for, basically just to show her that people care and that what she had been through was rough, but that she had accomplished something by, going through the bone marrow transplant and being healthy again. So all this to say is that I found that hockey players have some of the biggest hearts in sports, and that's not to say the other sports don't, right? But specifically hockey in my life has been something that has connected me with people. It's connected me with my students here at the church. It's connected me with my family. We spent time going to hockey games and just kind of, that was our thing. And one of the coolest things we ever got to do was after the Penguins won the Stanley Cup in, what year was it? 2016. Right there, that's us. We got to go hang out with Matt and see the Stanley Cup. That was so cool. The other really cool thing he did, this was shortly before 2016, the Cullen Children's Foundation sponsored Erin's Make-A-Wish trip to Disney World that she was granted. So I remember getting that in the mail and seeing that, and I'm like, that guy, Matt Cullen, personal hero of mine now, I can't believe the kindness he's shown to us and the kindness he shows to kids and families who need it. He's an amazing, amazing person, and I think that was one of those moments in my life where I saw, okay, how can I show kindness to people? How can I give back? Because once you're shown all the kindness from different people who don't have to, you want to find ways to do it in return. So that's one of the reasons I got started with fundraising, and it kind of snowballed and led me on this path here to the church. And I love hockey because of it. My connection with hockey is not purely as a sports fan. It's because these people are kind. They've shown me kindness, and it's kind of a thread that's kind of gone through our lives in the last 5 years that has connected me with my family and friends and people in my life, and that's how you see God at work, right? Through something like hockey has really changed my life. And so now I'm a pretty big fan, and I'm actually missing it because we'd be in the middle of the playoffs right now. I don't think the Blackhawks would have made it. They weren't so good this year. But I think the Flyers would have made it, so that I'd be watching them. I also root for all Canadian teams. That's just a thing of mine. The other thing is I just wanted to read a proverb, and this kind of sums up what you should do with your kindness. And it's Proverbs 21:21, and it says, "Whoever pursues righteousness and kindness will find life and honor." And that to me is just, it's such a, be kind to people, show kindness, and kindness will come to you in return. It's do unto others what you would have them do to you. It's the golden rule, essentially, right? Jesus even said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. And this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. Thou shalt love your neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So even Jesus was out there saying, you know what, be kind to each other. This is so important. It's one of the most important things you can do. On being kind hangs all the law and the prophets. So everything that came before it, everything that has been said about Jesus and God and things like that, he equates loving God and being kind to your neighbor as the most important thing you can do. And so that to me speaks volumes about people in our lives who show us kindness, and they don't look for anything in return, and they just do it because they can, and because they want to, and because they want to help people. And so yeah, that's my hockey story. I'm a big fan of hockey now. I wasn't 5 years ago. It's because of a man named Matt Cullen who showed us kindness when he didn't have to. And now I've got an office full of hockey memorabilia and fun knickknacks, and even some more at home. And you know, the picture of us with the Stanley Cup is one of my favorite pictures, because that was just really something that we got to share with him and celebrate with him, because he knew us, you know, and it was kind of cool to see someone you know out there hoisting a cup, right? So we can look forward, hopefully, to the fall when hockey returns. I don't know what the NHL is going to do. Hopefully UND gets back to hockey in the fall, but we'll see. We can just hope and pray, you know, that this virus passes and things can get back to normal in some form or fashion. But, you know, that doesn't mean even without hockey, we can still show kindness to each other. And that's not something we have to hope and pray for. That's something we can do every day without any prompting, without any pushing. We can just be kind. And so go out there. There's a lot of people who need help right now, people who are looking for ways to connect with church and other people, people who need food, people who need supplies, people who can't leave their homes. They need kindness. And so go out and show some kindness. And one of the fun things that happens when you show kindness to people, it's returned to you in kind and in ways you do not expect. So go out there and do something kind for each other today. And hockey, 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 boy, boy, boy.